Good evening, I'm the Friendly Senpai, and today we are going to be talking about Kuzu no Honkai, which is also known as Scum's Wish. A dramatic high school anime that is either about to finish season 1 or is about to wrap up entirely. Kuzu no Honkai tells the story of Hanabi and Mugi, two high schoolers who are in love with people that they know are unattainable. Hanabi is in love with her childhood friend and homeroom teacher Narumi, and Mugi is in love with his tutor turned teacher Akane. So as they accept that they will never be able to have the ones that they truly have feelings for, Mugi and Hanabi decide to be substitutes for one another. There is a lot going on in this anime, and it's depressing as fuck. This is, in a nutshell, a story about people who acknowledge the fact that they will never be able to achieve true happiness, so instead, they decide to settle on something that, while will not make them happy, and they know will not make them happy, is enough for them to live their lives contently. Now, starting this out, I may be a little biased because I can relate to these characters a little more than I'm really willing to admit, but I found the anime's plot to be one that was both unique and was pulled off very well. The biggest pointer is how the anime addresses the difference between love and lust. We see that Hanabi and Mugi are friends and they do genuinely enjoy being around one another, but as they strip down and share intimacy with one another, we can see very clearly that their minds are not together. This anime also does not bother with trying to paint its characters as good people. Desperate, yes, but not good. As the series continues on and introduces more characters, throwing curveballs at you around every corner as things spiral out of control for everyone involved, the cast acknowledges that they are using each other for selfish reasons. Noriko manipulates Mugi into going on a date with her so she can cherish that single moment forever. Hanabi pretends to have feelings for Sanae so she doesn't have to sleep alone. Sanae understands that Hanabi doesn't return her feelings and is uncomfortable, but still initiates sex so she can be satisfied. Takuya knows Sanae is a lesbian and still insists that they go out. And it feels like the only character that isn't a total piece of shit is Narumi, who just got stuck in the middle of this shitstorm. And if you haven't caught on to this yet, this is not a story about a love triangle. This is like a love hexagon. You need like a flowchart for this shit. Yet, do not take this as me criticizing the anime. Flawed characters are what bring a story to life, so I am not displeased by any of this. Do I think it is a tad tiresome to see everyone settle for being in a one-sided loveless relationship? Yes. But that was the anime's theme, so while I was sitting there wishing that someone would just stand up for themselves, I couldn't necessarily hold it against the writer, especially when the show has yet to finish airing, so I haven't seen all of the planned content. What I do hold against the writer, however, is how by episode 6, things got very dramatic. Scenes were either someone crying or someone having sex, with some moping and self-reflection sprinkled throughout. That's too much. We also never really got to see the relationships between Hanabi and Narumi and Mugi and Akane for us to really care too much about what was going on in that aspect. But I also think that's because a lot of this anime was more focused on the evolving relationship between Hanabi and Mugi. When things start out, Hanabi and Mugi really, they make a point of not looking at each other and not acknowledging that they are with that person. It's a very much close your eyes and just pretend that you're somewhere else situation. However, as the anime progressed, things started to change. They would look each other in the eye, they would say each other's names when they were intimate, and they picked up on each other's body language cues. This is not to say that they fell in love, and that's not to say that their feelings were accepted by the people they were pining after. And this is not me trying to build hype or build suspense, because I genuinely don't know what happens. As I said, the anime isn't even finished, and I don't even think the manga it was adapted from has finished being published. But yeah, there is a lot of development going on in the anime. There's not a whole lot of plot, per se. There's not like some large overarching story that just involves all of the characters we see on screen. The anime's main focus is fleshing out these characters and watching them as they develop with and without one another. Outside of the emotionally straining plot, I was also blown away by the creative decisions the creators went with. First and foremost, Scum's Wish uses a very cinematic and very unique use of the camera. It's almost like they literally wanted to turn the manga itself into an anime. There are panels with different angles being used to create a single picture that is constantly changing. Every scene will come at you from a different direction, and even if the scenes line up to a similar style, every scene presented something new. It made animation feel like an art again. And this artistic style of animation worked in tandem with an unconventional story and even more unconventional sex. And speaking of that, a lot of people accuse this of just being an hentai that's an hentai, guys. A lot of people accuse this of being an ecchi that just toes the line of hentai, but I feel like those people are allowing a lot of the anime, like the main point of the anime, to just fly over their heads. Hentai is intended to arouse the viewer, and Scum's Wish does not do that, and they don't make any attempt at doing that. The sex scenes in Scum's Wish are created in a manner that makes them sensual and intimate, and they never come off as fan servicey or something raunchy like ecchi would. And the reason this isn't in the writing section of the review is because the heavy mood and the emotion in every sex scene was largely conveyed through the use of visuals. The next thing I wanted to commend Studio Lerche, I cannot pronounce it. Here, I'm putting it on the screen. One thing I wanted to commend them for was the way they use subtle detail throughout the anime. Because at first glance, it looks like there's not a ton of detail. It's not crisp and clean like a lot of newer anime that are constantly raising the bar. But there are little bits here and there where, if you just take the time to look, are very impressive. It's the individual shadows cast by leaves of a tree, and the wood grain in the flooring, and the delicate sponge texture in a cake, and the individual lashes around almost liquid eyes. You just have to look. Obviously, I enjoyed the hell out of Scum's Wish. The characters are well created, the animation is very artistic, the OST works seamlessly with the visuals to establish a scene's atmosphere, and I binge watched every available episode in a single sitting. This is a rather polarizing anime. Some people love it and some people hate it, but I feel like the people who talk with hostility about Scum's Wish just miss the point. Anyways, those are my thoughts on Scum's Wish. If you've seen it, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Otherwise, you can find all of my social media as well as my Patreon in the description. Happy unbirthday, and remember, the senpai loves you. Bye!